hearing music or I'm cataloging music for future briefs, then we know we have it on deck. We can possibly use it. And like I said, I'm always getting requested music by some type of project I'm working on.
Hmm.
So if you have your music in the catalog, it's more you have more of an opportunity for it to get pitched.
Okay. I was curious also, do you pitch it out to any video games like Madden or any of the 2K or any of that?
Yeah, so when we working on music and we're working on pitches, we're pitching it for film, movies, television shows, podcasts, video games, any form of storytelling, right? And
Okay.
storytelling comes in a lot of different formats nowadays, right?
Right, right,
So
right.
any format that's presenting storytelling, and I would like to say anything that's like on your computer, your TV, or you can listen to, we're always pitching music for those type of opportunities. Like
Okay.
even there's even times we're pitching music for it to be in coffee shops, right? Or
Right.
to be in Starbucks or Pete's Coffee to be on their national playlist. So we're working every stream that we can.
Right. Okay. That'll work. That sounds great. That was one of the things I saw a video not long ago of an artist that had mentioned he got, a budget for Madden, and then they ended up not even using his song, but he still got the bread. I was like,
Yeah.
wow,
Hmm.
that's crazy.
Yeah, it happens like that, man. Yeah, they'll pay for demos or request us to do songs and pay us to do the songs, and then sometimes they have a different music supervisor who comes along or a different director of the video game who says, "Hey, you know what? I'm changing the scope of the music because I want it to go in this direction."
Right.
And a lot of times, even if they pay us out, it's fine. It is what it is, but that's just what happens. Nature of the beast.
For sure, for sure. Okay.
What else you got for me?
If once you get a song synced, does it become exclusive then to what it was synced to, or can you still push it at like as a single?
So it all depends. That's a very good question. So every deal is different, man, and that's what I tell people in the sync world. Like, it's one of the reasons why a lot of people like have a hard time like being successful or working in this industry because all the deals are differently, right? So like some deals we may, I'll give you an example of deals that we may have. Some deals will probably they'll own 100% of the master, own the publishing. We get our writer's share, but it's a non-exclusive song, meaning that they have all the rights. We can't put it out, but that song is getting used for like a major campaign, right? And
Right,
they'll give us a nice upfront fee of maybe like 50,000 and 90,000, right?
right,
There's some deals where we'll own half of the master, half of the publishing, all our writers share, and there's no upfront fee, right? There's sometimes where there's no publishing, but I mean, there's some publishing, no master, but we get a small upfront fee and we own all the writer's share, right?
okay.
And we get to release the song, right? So it really all depends on what company we're working with. I would say the bigger the companies that we work with, and when I say the companies, the brands. So, like, say we're doing like a T-Mobile commercial, right? Or we're
Mm.
doing something for Pepsi or Fox or Disney. They like to outright own all the music that they are working with or that they are buying just because they like to use it in all the different companies that they own, right? And a lot of those brands own a lot of different other corporations, right?
Right,
So because of that, they're like, hey, we want to exclusively buy this. You can't put this out because they like to put it out on their Spotify playlist, right? Or they create their own little albums to put out on their own. So it all is really just predicated on what company you work for. I would say in my experience, it's been 50-50.
okay.
50% of the companies I work with, they haven't cared if I put it out on DSPs or if it's been released. The other 50% is like, no, Darnell, we want this to be non-exclusive. This is our stuff. We don't want no one else streaming it or trying to play it without us knowing about it or us putting it out the way we think it should be put out. So,
Okay.
like I said, it's just really predicated on who you're working with.
Okay. I only had that question because one of my songs that I submitted is on the Odyssey network right now. Odyssey Station Power 93.5 here in Wichita, Kansas. And it was on heavy rotation at beginning of March into April, and then it's kind of slowed up a little bit. But I was just curious because I don't have no problem with pulling it down if somebody was
Yeah,
trying to place it because I can make more music.
got it. Which song? Which song was that? Just curious.
That's Rod.
Okay,
Yeah,
so that was getting heavy rotation.
yeah, yeah. And it's crazy because like the radio programmer here, I hadn't dealt with him in like 15 years, and I just randomly reached out to him and sent him the song, and he was like, "Yeah, send me the waves." Like as you can see on my Spotify and everything, I don't have a huge following. I literally just got back into music last June, and
Okay.
I took off for a long time because I said I had some life stuff going on. And when I sent it to him, I didn't think it was gonna go like that. So I don't even have a video shot to Rod still or any of that. It just kind of organically took off. So it's like been on the radio. I did this show called the Blue Room, which is here, but it doesn't do anything but promote artists, on a large scale. Like anybody that comes in to do concerts from anywhere comes to that platform. So
Okay. So you're out in the Midwest?
yep, Wichita,
Okay.
Kansas. Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. All right. What else questions you got for me?
Um, I can't really think of any off top. You pretty much hit the main ones that I had concerns with.
Okay. All right. So let's talk a little bit about your music, right?
Yep.
And let's talk a little bit about like what we're looking for. Um, so I listen to your music. Your sound reminds me of a West Coast sound, right?
So,
Do you get that a lot?
yeah,
Yeah, you
tremendous.
do.
Yeah, I'm a throwback. You know what I'm saying? In my age bracket, that's what I was raised up on. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Stayed out there for a little bit, and then like the whole lifestyle and everything. All of that was impressionable. You know what I'm saying? Most of the artists in this region, everybody had a West Coast sound until about 2000. Then they started sounding like Dallas and all that other stuff. And,
Yeah.
it just took a turn for the left. But I gotta stay in the lane I'm in. You know what I'm saying? That's what I do and
Yeah.
that's what I vibe to. So
Got you. I got you. I got you. So I listen to your music. Overall, I like your sound quality is good. I like what I'm hearing. Just there's not a lot of the songs that will really fit what we're doing. It will kind of be like niche based. So let me explain to you a little context, like exactly what I do and what makes me successful, right?
mm,
So a lot of what I do is obviously I'm a composer, so I write a lot of music and songs for film and television. But it probably shows share with you I have a lot of placements and a lot of success.
yeah,
And one of the reasons why I've had a lot of success is because I understand like the formula, right?
mm,
So just like when you're making music for the radio or for fans, and as an artist, you understand there's a formula, right? There's actually a formula for what we do, right?
right,
And the formula, I would tell you it's more straightforward. It doesn't involve nepotism, and it's either you hit it or you don't. You know what I mean? And so once you understand the formula, you understand what they're looking for, then you can craft the music around that, right? And
right,
that allows you to get selected a lot. So that's allowed me to get a lot of placements because I've understood the formula, understood what they're looking for. And a lot of what we're looking for in the formula has nothing to do with what you think it is when you create music for as an artist, right? And
right,
you're creating for your fans, right? There's like it's a very technical field, which is why there's not a lot of people who get placements. Why I always explain to people there's a reason why over the years you've never heard major artists get a lot of TV placements and film placements because their music doesn't actually fit the formula. We don't care about if it's a catchy song. We don't care if it has a lot of streams. We don't care if it's a lot of storytelling. That's actually the opposite of what we're looking for, right?
right,
We're looking for songs that evoke emotion, have layers, a lot of dynamics, a lot of movement, and that's kind of almost the opposite of what they tell you when you're making music, right? They always tell the producer, keep it simple, not a lot of layers. The
right,
artist tell the story, let the people see. And in our world, that's different, right? It's not what we're looking for because the TV, the film, the podcast, the video game, they're actually telling the story. The
right,
music job is to really evoke the emotion, right? Some of your songs evoke emotion, but a lot of your songs are a storytelling. You know what I mean? You're painting the picture, which is okay. But in this instance, we're looking for the screen to do that, right? They're
right,
telling a story. We're telling the audience what the cue is to how to feel, right? I always tell people that the real way to think about the way we do music in this realm is that we're in the business of customer service, right? We're
mm,
not the focal point anymore. Our job is to assist really the artist who is really the company and helping their vision come true, right? And how do we do that? Provide music that tells the audience what to feel, right? Tell them when to tell them, hey, this is, you should get excited because you're about to go to the next level on this next screen, right? Or you're watching that movie show, you're like, hey, we want you to feel this way because this dude is about to get killed right now. You know what I mean? So that's our job. And how do we do that is a very technical way, right? And a lot of times people don't understand it because it's one of those things. I want to say it's gatekeep, but you only learn it when you're in it, right? No one goes around and teaches you how to do this, right? Nowadays there's schools that kind of teach you the technical aspect, but they're still teaching you how to create songs really for the radio, really how to understand the psychology of someone's mind and how to make a lot of money by making your own music. In this instance, we kind of do it differently. So as we go through some of your songs and stuff, as I talk about some of your songs, we'll talk about like the formula, right? Because I think that's the best way for people to understand it, right?
Okay.
So like that I actually liked, and let me ask you a few questions about them too, so we could talk about these aspects of them. So like, I think is I Gotcha. I wanted to know. I like that song a lot. Actually like Ride. I like Success. I like Running Numbers. Did any of those songs contain like any samples or anything in it?
No.
No samples.
No.
Okay.
The beginning sample. Let me take that back. The beginning sample of "I Got You" is an Aretha. I want to think it's an Aretha sample, but he ran it through. That producer was a different producer from Trill. That was Doug the Beast. He ran that through AI tool or something, and that song, man. I have that same beat. Let me tell you the short story it is. Doug Beats is a producer out of Seattle. He was sending beats and stuff to Jay Stalin, right? And Jay Diggs and all of them. He sent him a beat pack. This is in March of last year. I met Doug the Beats in April. He still had the beats in a selection pack. So Jay Stalin never got back with him. I said, man, I like that. That's fire. Let me have that. Bet. Yeah. I got the exclusive contract right now. You know what I'm saying? I already hollered at a music attorney, and he was like, just let his stay up for a little while and run numbers up and see what it's going to do. But that exact same beat, but without the changes, the bass line and the pauses in it, he has a song out called Everybody. He stole my first 8 bars of that in the cadence for his whole song. Because he came here to where I'm at. They come down here and do shows like all the time. They in Kansas City, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Wichita all the time. He came down here. Some people that's in a different circle and some cats I don't mess with had put him up on the song. So when he heard that, he basically heard my version, went home, found that beat, and put it out. He got a little more money than me, so he beat me to the publishing line. He got published August 1st. Mine got published August 20th. But it's like, that song, his is trash. Mine is a story told, you know what I'm saying, wrote specifically to that beat. The only sample is at that beginning part, that little singing, but like I said, that was an AI tool and it hasn't never flagged anything. It got registered and cleared on BMI and all of that stuff, so no hiccup.
Okay. Cool. That's good to know. Do any of the producers you work with, do they use any samples or anything?
No. All my other songs is SC Trill produced, and he does everything from scratch.
Okay. Cool. All right, that's good to know. So let's talk about these songs, and let's talk about like really what these songs like need, or what's the formula going forward when you make songs, right? And I've kind of made this kind of easy and digestible for everyone. So like, I'm gonna talk a little bit about some of these things, but you're gonna also get access to some examples, right? So I myself and some music supervisors, coordinators, and ours who got together, we made a few playlists, right? We have people always asking us, hey, what type of music you guys looking for? How should the music sound? What are you guys talking about when you guys talk about layers and dynamics and some of the things you're going to hear me talk about, right? Movement. These playlists provides these clear examples of the type of music that we're currently looking for. And this is for what we're looking for in 2025, right? What we're really pushing, what a lot of the studios are asking from us, what a lot of the music supervisors are asking for us also, right? So a lot of the things I'm going to talk about, they're going to be in there, right? So let's talk about, I like to break this down into 3 sections: production, um, the mix, and then the theme, right? And so let's start with the production, right? And this would really be a lot of information you're going to take back to your producers, right? And I always tell artists, like, when you work on sync, you're going to have to think about yourself. If you're not already, you're an executive producer, right? You're going to have to probably take a little more control of how the sound of the music is going to come across, especially because you're writing it, and this is going to become a more of, hey, now you can add way more things than you're thinking about, where you're going to have to give a lot of direction to your producer, saying, hey, you know what, for this line, this is what I was thinking about the arrangement. You know what I mean? We're going to need to put a drop there, or you know what, I met with Darnell, and we're going to have to start switching stuff up and everything. So let's talk about the production, right?
Yep.
So overall, the production of the songs is cool. Really, really don't have any complaints. A lot of times I hear people's production and it sucks, right? I wouldn't say the production sucks on here. Overall, it's good quality. But when we're looking for production and what we do, there's a few elements that you need to have, right, for your song to be placement worthy. So one of the things that we're always looking for, right, is what we call movement, right? So what is movement? I think I tell people in layman's term, movement is, think about it like this. Every 4 bars, something needs to be happening in the song, right?
Yep.
Either you're adding a sound, you're taking out a sound.
Progression, build up, bridge.
Yeah,
I get it.
yeah. You do a lot of things every 4 bars, right? You
Yep.
can do stutter effects, filtering. I'm giving you some examples, but think about it. Every 4 bars, something needs to be happening, right?
Yep.
And if there isn't, it's very hard for us to use the song to get placed, because think about it. When you're watching TV, you're listening to podcasts, you're playing a video game, nothing is ever stagnant, right? You're
Right.
never, nothing's ever just going the same. Nothing's monotone. You're going from one screen, you're going from one scene to another scene. The music has to feel like that so we can transition, right?
Got to
So we're
travel.
always, yeah, we're looking for movement.
Yep.
The next thing that we're always looking for and what we need in some of these songs is layers, right? And what are we talking about layers? You kind of said the key word, build up, right? So I always tell people, like, when you think about putting these songs together, here's the minimum standards. Minimum standards. You need to have an intro. You need to have 2 verses. You need to have the hook, right? You need to have an outro. At the very minimum, every song should have that, right?
Yep.
And throughout the song, throughout those sections, everything should build up. So your intro may be very big or may be very small, but it needs to be something memorable and catchy, right? And,
Brainstorm.
and yeah, and depending if you start with your hook or you start with your verse, will kind of decide what your buildup is going to be. Sometimes people like to start off with their verses and build
Right.
their way up to the hooks. Sometimes people like to start with a big hook and then build their way up to the verses to go back to another hook.
Right.
But we're looking for layers. And when we're looking for layers, we're looking for different layers throughout the song. So we're looking, the first hook may not sound like the second hook, because you know what, in the first hook, you only have maybe some horns and keys and bass and some percussion, but then the second hook you have those same elements, but then you added a guitar, you know what I mean? And then
Right.
your third hook, you added those same elements, but now you have the guitar, those previous elements, and now you have like some big choir sound going out at the end to make it a larger. We're looking for layers in those concepts, right? And so when we're not hearing those, it's very hard for us to use a song, right?
Yep.
Because we're trying to take a song and use it as in many pieces as we can, right? We want to be able to take one song and, you know what, we can use it 9 different times in this TV show, right?
Yep.
That's what we're looking for. So when we have layers, we can do that. So movement, layers, and then the next component where we're looking for in production is what we like to call dynamics. And I like to think about dynamics as, think about it as the loudness and the punch of the production, right? A lot of maybe you're doing holds, right?
Mhm.
Uh, Maybe you could think about it as risers and sweeps, right? We like a lot of risers, sweeps, a lot of drum fills. These create dynamics to a song, right?
Yep.
To give people that, to let them know, hey, you're about to feel this, or hey, we're building you up to feel that. We're looking for a lot of those elements in songs because we like to use those to transition into scenes. So
Right.
drum fills, risers, sweeps, downers, right? Stutter effects. Those create a lot of dynamics. That's what
Yep.
we're looking for. And then the last component in production, which a lot you hear it sometimes in some songs, and some songs you don't. We call it a stinger, right? Some people may call it a verb though, but every song needs to end with what we call a stinger or a verb though, right? I heard a term not too long ago, an executive was calling it a long press, right? And think about it as an emphasis on how the song ends. Do
Right.
not worry. It's already in your email. I know Show sent you over some examples. I created some examples for you so you can hear it. And it's different versions of how they can end. Sometimes you can end it on vocals, sometimes you can end it on production. Whatever it is, every song needs to end with a stinger. If your song does not end with a stinger, you won't even get a placement. You can have all the best song, the mix is great, production's amazing, the theme is on point. But if your song does not end with a stinger, you're not going to get a placement. It's just that simple. So when we're talking about production, we're talking about movement, right? The layers, the dynamics, the stingers, right? Right, and that includes the risers and the sweeps and the downers. So we need more of that when it comes to some of the production of these songs, especially the ones I liked, right?
Yes,
And
sir.
because of that, I always tell people when songs are getting placed, I would say it's about either between 80 to 85% of the time when a song is getting placed, they're going to use the music and not the vocals, right? If they
Right.
decide the vocals, what they're going to use is really the hook, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that when we talk about the theme and how that works and everything. But the production is very important because sometimes they're just listening for the production to see if it has those buildups and everything. I
Right.
always tell people I always tell people a lot of times we don't got to listen to records to see if it has the things that we're looking for in the production. A lot of times we'll look at the wave file and we can see a wave file and we can see if it's building up. We can see
The
if it's peaking,
frequencies.
if it's
Right.
all the way loud. We can
Right.
see those things. So I always tell people that's the eye test. When you're making music and you're trying to see, hey, does this look like it's gonna work for Darnell? You got to do the eye test on that wave file to be like, all right, I see a lot of different things going on in here, right? If we're not seeing that, then we already know it's going to be kind of hard for us to use that song, right? So, do you have any questions about any of the things I said, or need any clarification?
Not really. I understand. I understand. I used to make music myself, and I that's why I started hustling was to get a studio, and that's a long story. But my producer, he actually graduated from the 1500 Academy down there, so it's like
Oh, nice.
he's no one else down here. Like he does music for Mr. Fab and all of them. He makes stuff for Rich the Factor, all of that. So like I'm understanding. I'm grabbing exactly what you're saying. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of that stuff I have tried to put into my songs. That's kind of what separates my sound from everyone else here because I do have some more of that traditional stuff and. I try to work those in there, and I'm glad to hear you saying some of the things you're saying because I feel like I do so much stuff in my music and it goes unnoticed. And it's great to hear that there's a part of music that's actually based on that. Because I
Yeah,
love that in the transitions and the escalation, the build up, the climax. I remember how music was made from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? In the old days when you had way less. You got
yeah,
6 tracks to get across what you're trying to do. You know what I'm saying? And they were getting it done. So I'm following everything that you're saying.
dope, dope, good. So let's talk about the next component, right? The theme, right? So themes are so important, right? A lot of the songs get chosen when after they like the production, they're looking at the themes, right? Not just you, not just any song makes it, right? I always tell people, a lot of people think, oh, my song is catchy or it has a certain vibe, it's going to get placed, right?
Right,
They don't care about that. We're not caring about your strings or if it's catchy or not. We're
right,
always caring about the theme of the song. Is the theme of the song going to match what we're trying to portray in this project that we're working on, right? And when we're listening to the theme and the lyrics of the music, right, and we're looking for the words, we're looking at less storytelling and more songs that evoke emotion, right? How I always tell people the trick is really to hone in on a theme and then tell me about how that theme makes you feel emotionally, right? Like so you're gonna get a list of popular themes because I put this together for you. So you'll know what themes are popular, but I'll give you some examples that are themes that always get placed, right? We love themes about being a winner, about championships, right? About the underdog, overcoming the odds. And when you're writing songs about that, really hone in on the feeling of what does that feel like when you're overcoming the odds, or when you're a champion, or how does your family, because family's a big theme, or partying, like partying, how does, when you party, how does that make you feel, right?
Right.
When you write about these songs, we're looking for those emotions, right? So we could take those emotions and then set that song in that same cue that we needed, right? Because that scene, we're having them tell that story, whether it's how they may be saying the words in the script, or maybe how they're using their hands or their body language or anything like that.
Right.
That is what we're looking for in the songs. It's less storytelling. A lot of people think, "Oh, I'm telling this great story in the song," and
Right.
they're like, "Well, how did I get this placement? I was saying all the things you need." It's like, yeah, you were telling the story, but they're telling the story. All we need to do is make sure we're telling what the emotion the audience should feel, right? So the theme is a, a very important part. And I would say the similarity when it comes to the theme and what we do versus when you're creating music as an artist, right? It's the hook, right? Obviously, the hook is the most important part. And that theme, whatever theme you're writing about, that emotion needs to be in that hook, right?
Right.
And I always tell people, keep it simple. This is what we do in this world. is it's kind of always, you can dumb it down. I always like to tell people, the people who is listening to this music and making these decisions don't look like you and I, right?
Right.
They normally some 60, 70, 80-year old white man, woman, or Indian man and woman. They're making these decisions. And so the music that we got to give them, the themes and the words and how we're articulating things and enunciating words, it has to be digestible for them, right? A lot of times we may have some slang terminology, or we may get real crafty with our wordsmith, and some of that stuff may go over their head,
Right.
right? In this instance, we got to keep it very simple, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes that may be slowing down our cadence so they can understand, or enunciating, almost, I always say, enunciating with proper English as possible. And what is proper English? I'm talking about, the King's English, right? With
Yeah.
no articulation, and no what's the word I'm looking for? And no
No
accents,
slang.
certain accents, right?
Yep. Yep.
It's just for it, right? So a lot of times they're looking for that, because why? I always tell people, I like to explain why. Everything that we do is in perpetuity now, right?
Yep.
And as far as music, everything gets streamed. Everything has a place now. There's nothing that gets created and it goes off. When you get music placed, you're gonna be making money for the rest of your life. So they want the music and whatever's in there to be able to stand the test of time, right?
Yeah.
Be able to stand 10 years, 20 years, 30 years. So if we're using lingo, or using analogies or things that may not stand the test of time, that may only work for the 2000s
Right.
or
Right. Right.
2020s, somebody goes back and watch it or listen, they're like, what the hell are they talking about? And
Yeah.
there's certain songs that we may hear, or commercials or movies, like, they're using that song. What the
Right.
hell? They
Right.
could
Right.
use 10 other songs. They use it. These
Dated
words
to
are
a
outdated.
completely different era. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody knows what the hell they're talking about, right?
Yep.
That's what they're going for, and it's a really big thing now, because, like I said, there's nothing that gets created that doesn't go somewhere anymore.
Right.
Remember back in the day, and you and I probably the same age. A lot of stuff get created. You'd be lucky if it went to VHS. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, and it was only if it was good. You know what I'm saying? Like, not everything made it. You know what I mean? Now
Right.
everything makes it. If it ain't coming out in the theater, it's on some streaming platform.
Yep.
Somebody buys it, or some production
Tubi.
company.
Yep.
Yeah, and they'll make it somewhere. So they're always trying to make sure that, hey, these words that are being used, these themes they're going to be timeless, because we understand that this music is going to be, and this project is going to be available in perpetuity, right?
Right.
So make sure that we're having those things, right? Another thing about the theme is the titles of the songs, right? Titles of songs matter, especially in our world, and the spelling of it, right?
Mm.
Like, I'll give you an example. You have this song called Chicken Shit, right?
Yep.
That song wouldn't get chosen even if it was a good song, right? Because look, we'll talk about the word chicken. You spelled it like a slang word,
Mm.
right? When we are looking for songs, and music supervisors or music coordinators or even directors or sometimes editors, especially if we're working on the show in real time, sometimes we're searching for stuff in real time, right?
Mhm.
And when we're searching for stuff in real time, we use proper spelling, right? if your song Chicken Shit would have been the song we're looking for, we'd have missed it because we don't spell chicken like that.
Right.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So making sure that you're spelling out titles, right? Making sure that I always tell people what's the best title to have, whatever the theme of the song is. So if your song is about love, love better be in that damn title. Love better be in that hook somewhere. And so when we're searching for it, we can pull it up very easily. Okay.
Gotcha.
So like making sure your titles are spelled out. And this is one of the things that you always tell people you maybe have two versions of a song, right? Especially if you're gonna put it out. You're gonna have that version, that clean version that you give to me where you spell it out correctly, and then you may have that version you release into the streets. It got the explicit, you got a different title, and that may work. You know what I mean? You can do that, right? But it's always providing that copy to us so we know we can have it and it can be successful to us. Okay.
Gotcha.
Do you have any questions about any of the things about the theme?
Nah, man, that's high value info because I kind of got carried away. This is the first time I ever just spelled stuff how I talk instead of how you supposed to. It's duly noted though. Definitely going forward. I did try to I know you said you listened to them all. I tried to do that. Like Ride and Late Bloomer, I wrote specifically for this meeting. Neither one of them got cuss words in them from start to finish. So it's like that's already what a finished product would sound like. So it doesn't have to be edited or no cuss words taken out of none of that. I excel on that. My first album, 9 out of my 15 songs didn't have no cuss words. So like
Oh,
writing
nice.
like that is right up my alley. That's not a problem.
Good, good, good. Yeah, I always tell people avoid cussing as much as possible. If you do need to cuss, just make sure you give us clean versions. You know
Yep.
what I mean?
Yep.
Sometimes I understand like cussing makes sense. You know what I mean? Especially if you're writing a line and you need certain syllables in the line. You know what I mean? Like,
Mhm.
yo, that word works perfectly and it adds that emphasis that I'm looking for. So as the audience, sometimes we can know what somebody's talking about without it being there.
Right.
But we know like, oh, okay, it's blanked out that many seconds. We know what
Right.
word that is.
Right.
Sometimes it may make sense. Just give us a clean version so we can have the options. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now the next thing I want to talk to you about is the mixing, right?
Hmm.
And this is the part that a lot of people have problems with. I can say when I listen to your music, your mixing was very consistent. I don't really have a lot of complaints about your mixing, right? But what I always like to preference when we talk about mixing is I always tell people we're not looking for you to sound like any other artist, right? Because a lot of the music that I get, and you probably hear it, you said it earlier, is like, man, people in Kansas, they used to have their own little thing that they was doing. And all of a sudden, 2000s came, everybody sounded like Dallas. Everybody sounded like these other Southern dudes.
Yep.
And it's diluted. That's what we're not going for. We want originality, right?
Yep.
We want you to have your own voice. I always tell people, yo, I don't need you to sound like YG. I don't need you to
Right.
sound like the Migos.
Right.
Um, we don't need that. We know those people. If we want their music, we can call them. Hey, bro, hey,
Right.
I'm working on this film or video game. You want to do a quick switch? Give me a song. I'm gonna get you in this. We all gonna make some money, right?
Right.
We don't want that. We looking for originality. We want to hear your voice. We want to hear how your voice is mixed, right?
Yep.
So I always tell people when it comes to the mixing, keep it as natural as possible.
Yep.
Don't over process yourself, right? Obviously, sometimes when you're doing certain songs, it requires certain type of creative mindset. You may have doing something where it makes sense for you to use a lot of auto tune on a verse because you
I
may
hate
be going back and
God,
forth or something,
I
or
hate auto tune.
yeah, or you may pitch your voice up a
Yeah.
certain way for it to say a word. That's fine, but we don't want to hear your whole song and you sounding like Young Thug
Right.
and everything.
Right.
Keep it original, right?
Yes, sir.
Make sure that the mix is as polished as possible, right? And what do I mean by polish, right? I always tell people if you make a song, take that song. I want you to go listen to a song that right now that is a top 100 song. And if that song sounds at the same level, the same mixing quality, then you know you're in the right place. If it doesn't, then you need to go back to the drawing board because that's the type of quality of mixes that we're looking for. Even on the demos, right? We're looking for really good mixes. like I said, the people who are making these decisions, unfortunately, they're not creatives all the time, like
Right.
myself, right?
Right.
Where I can hear something that's rawest form, and I could be like, oh yeah, I hear the finished product already. We just need to do this. Oh, this is gonna
Right.
be a
Right.
banger. A lot of times they need that to be extremely digestible for them right up front. They need to be like, hey, I need to hear the vision, right?
Right.
And if they don't hear the vision, they're like, I don't see it, and they put the
Yeah.
song to the side, right? Because, like I said, let me tell you how they. I'm gonna walk through you, give you some free game on how they choose songs, right? Half of the time they don't even listen to the song, my friend. A lot of times what happens is the studio director, music supervisor, music coordinator, they'll reach out to me and say, Darnell, we're working on this video game, we're working on this movie, we're working on this TV show, we're working on this podcast. I need music. I need to sit down with you. Let's have a spotting session. Sit down with them. We have a spotting session, right? We go through whatever it is, right? And they're like, all right, Darnell, for this scene, I want music to sound like this. Here's a couple of lines from the movie or from the show or from the video game. You guys are saying, I'd love to have a song that has some lines in it like this. I'm like, all right. Sometimes I may be working on a show in real time, like Jimmy Fallon late tonight or Saturday Night Live or something like that. And we may need to get songs in like a matter of seconds, right? And
Right.
over to the ear, I can hear the producers like, "Hey, yo, we need a hip hop song that's talking about making money. We need it right now in the next a minute." A lot of times, what happens is I'll type in, I'm looking for a song, money. I'll go and type in money and look at my catalog, type in money, right? It'll pull up all the songs that I have money. For every song that we have, we got to turn in what we call closed captioning, which is the words, right? The lyrics. So for closed captioning, then I go to the closed captioning and I start reading some of the lyrics and I do my search from there. And I'll break it down. So, all right, what did the producer say? Oh, we need something about making money. So I'll type in making money. The songs that got that line, making money or some form of it or variation, then that narrows my search down. It may come out to 5 songs. From there, I'm not even listening to the songs because sometimes I can't listen to the songs. I got the time, right?
Right. Right.
I'm I'm going and looking at the wave file, like we talked about. I'm like, all right, which wave file got more movement, and what's the BPM and what's the tempo? All right, they said they want something up tempo. All right, this is 95. Cool. Let me look at this wave file. All right, I don't like this one. Oh, this one looks perfect. All right, let me listen to it now. All right, let me go to the end. I got a stinger. All right, perfect. We're gonna use this song. That's how we make selections of songs sometimes, right? And
Yep.
so when we're listening to it for those 5, 6, 7 seconds, we're listening. All right, that production there, that theme was there, and was that mix amazingly popped out to us right when we listened to it, right? And if it didn't, we don't even go look. And as you know, you've done this for a while. You sometimes you can look at the waveform, you can tell, oh man, this is not a good mix. You
Yeah.
can just already tell you like, damn, this
Yep.
shit peaking everywhere. You
Yep.
know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My car go blow my shit out. You know that.
Yep.
So we're looking for those things immediately, especially with the mixing. And like I said, a lot of times in this day and age, the mixing is the problem that people have the most problem with because now recording is available and accessible to everybody. But this technical aspect of mixing, not everyone understands, right?
For
Like
sure.
I said, if your mixes are on point, I really don't see a lot of problems, but I like to always emphasize these things about the mix because a lot of times people get comfortable. They're
Yeah.
like, oh, no, he like that.
Yeah.
And I don't need to know. It always needs, think about it. Think about it. This is your first impression, right? And this is
Right.
what people are going to think about you. If you present a poor quality mix, it'll be hard for you to get yourself back into that room because they
I've
all
got
it
probably 60 to 75 other songs done, and I only sent you these 8 because they the most recent and up to par quality. I wasn't gonna waste your time with the rest of my stuff, no matter what I thought about them. So I feel that, brother. Show them
yeah.
quality is everything at this stage, man. We look at the finished product, and that's what I'm trying to, come with. And I'm absorbing all this. I'm screen recording it, and I'm show finna sit down with my producer when I'm done with this, so we can, go over all the points.
Good, good. So that's pretty much when it comes to the formula. So if you can really go back to some of these songs, and I always tell people, what's people always ask me, all right, Darnell, what's the next step, right? Can I send you more music, right? I got these other songs that I hear what you're saying. I'm gonna go back to the drawing board. Go back to the drawing board, listen to these songs, right? Go back in, re-add some of these elements, re-listen to it. I always tell people when you go back to your producers, and sometimes people are their own producers, right? This is your opportunity to get as creative as you want. A lot of times people have told us don't do that. Keep it as simple as possible because
Right,
the
right, right.
the 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 audience needs to be able to understand it and go and it's the total opposite. This is where you can get creative and do a lot of things and push the boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yep.
We're not looking for a particular type of style of music. We're looking for a feeling, right? That's what we're looking for.
Yeah.
What's the feeling that it generates? And different genres, different generate different types of feelings. And some genres generate the same feelings. It's just the execution. And it's your execution right. And it's it, have you spent the time? I always tell people when you're going back to the drawing board, listen to the playlist, right? Go to listen to that playlist first. Listen to the songs. Probably pick 4 or 5 songs that really stood out on that playlist to you. Like, yeah, I could do this shit right here. And then go compare those songs to what you have in your catalog and be like, you know what? That's kind of in this round, or that's kind of in this round. And you may not have some in that round. You may literally be like, you know what? I'm going back to the drawing board on this. And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
Yeah.
What you want to do is go back to the drawing board and get down to execution. And you can send stuff to us to be like, hey, yo, what you guys think? Am I on the right track, right? If you already got some records, when you go back and listen to your catalog, you're like, yo, I already got some records that have all these things, or I think are doing these things. You can resend it to us. We got a folder created for you, and then we'll listen to them, right? And if they're ready to get pitched, we'll be like, hey, it's a go. If we're like, hey, you're almost there, but we need X, Y, Z, we'll provide that feedback to you, man.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Do you got any questions? Now that I talked a long time. Has any questions popped up in your head about anything you want to ask me?
You a couple did, but like you talk right through what I was looking for. Not off the top, man. I'm tracking a whole bunch of what you're saying, cause like you said, advancing age. I'm getting what you're saying. I'm hearing what you're saying, what you're looking for. I'm just looking for any specifics, like we said, going through specific songs. I'm just ready to get after it. You know what I'm saying? I'm ready to tackle it.
That's good. That's what I like to hear, man. That's what I like to hear. Trying to think if there's anything else on my. Let me look at my list. We talked about production. We talked about theme. We talked about mixing. Oh, one thing I want to talk to you about. So make sure there's two things, because we've been coming across these issues on some placements, right? So I want to make sure that we're 100% clear with artists. When you're working with producers, right, especially when you're not producing your own stuff, you got to make sure that whatever beats that you're getting from these producers, that you're the only one who has these beats, okay?
Yep.
That they don't have it on no websites, you're not leasing them out to anybody else, that they're not using any type of samples. And when I say samples, I'm talking about when you're sampling someone else's song, but also like the samples, like the free loops and stuff, like from Splice or freesounds.com. There's a lot of these websites and stuff. The reason why is because we like to have all original music, right? And a lot of the things we're working on is original art form. The studios want the music to be original, right? They have ways from running the music through databases and finding if it's a sample and where it came from.
Yep.
And if we do find samples, 99% of the time, there's no discussions, right? They just pull the record and then they say, we're not doing business with you no more because you're creating a headache. We don't want no lawsuits. So when you're working with producers, make sure you have everything in writing. Make sure you have the split sheets. Make sure if they're hiring musicians or you have engineers you're working with or they're working with other people, you have work for hire contracts, right? You have all these things already ironed out, and you make sure that everyone has their PRO, right?
Yep.
You already know what PRO was. We were talking about BMI earlier. You already registered yourself, so you know what that is, right?
Yes, sir.
Make sure that the producers or any co-writers or engineers that you may be adding onto a split sheet, that they have this. What normally stops up placement opportunities is people not having the correct paperwork, right?
Yep.
And the studios, they don't play when it comes to that. They don't wait. They don't do nothing. They're like, oh, we'll give you. Nah, let's go to the next song. And we have missed out on opportunities because people have stole beats from other people, or people haven't included producers' information, and we find out immediately, right? Especially when I'm like, hey, send me the stems. I need the stems broken out like this, and they can't send me those things, right? That's the first cue. And I'm like, how can you? I thought you know the producer or you made this beat, and they can't send me what I'm looking for, right? So make sure that you have all that paperwork ironed out. your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. Just so when it's time to pull the trigger, we can pull the trigger.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I learned after doing I Got You was the second song I did, and after that, Little Headache, all my stuff is from Trill. No, I don't have nothing from nobody else, no YouTube, nothing. I sit there I got all my stems in an external, I got all my masters, all of that stuff. When mix and master some stuff, I download it right then and there. So everything, our sheets and everything is worked out. I credit him on BMI on the producer aspect, through CD Baby where I released from, because he's actually one of the performers on that song Success.
Okay.
All of that stuff is all hammered out though, and like I've got his number and everything listed and everything. So all of that's the only advantage I got, because no one else in my city does paperwork. Nobody,
Oh,
nobody here does nothing. So it's like I hate doing songs with these cats because you can't even put it out because it doesn't exist. It's not real, you know?
yeah. It ain't no paperwork. It ain't real. That's what I tell people. It's just another idea, and you can't get mad if someone steals it and gets
Right,
the paperwork for you. and
right.
it because it's so easy to create the paperwork nowadays. It's not even a process, man.
I
Very
know.
simple.
I know. That's what kills me about with Jay Stalin, because for as much money as he had, he should have had that out in the paperwork done. So when mine hit the internet, it should have got flagged immediately. It should have never
Yeah,
even got out. That's how I
yeah.
knew he never did. And then the attorney was like, "Man, you can pay me 5 grand right now, or you could just wait another year and a half." And we creep back upon him and make him get a cease and desist and take everything he earned from it, because he does perform that song too. It's like, yeah, that's down a better route. Yeah, I'm doing nothing but original, no samples. That's always been my thing, bro. And I hate auto tunes. You'll never hear me on no auto tunes. Maybe somebody features singing or whatever, but I can't stand it. I love the classic sound of human voice. That
That's,
interaction, that's how you build emotion, is you hearing another human. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Auto tunes can't
yeah,
get it. Can't get it.
yeah. I like it, man. I like it. You got any other questions for me, man? I know we about to wrap up shortly, so I want to know if you have any other questions for me or anything.
Um, so like you were saying, it's cool. Like if I come up with some new project or whatever, just go ahead and put it in that folder.
Yep, that's all it is, and just let us know, and then we'll be looking at them. And we actually Shell's gonna talk to you a little bit more when we get off the phone about our Discord. So we have a Discord and Cliff Notes version in the Discord. You always hear possibly opportunities if we got new opportunities popping up. If we're looking for certain type of music, you'll get the announcements in that. And also, it's really a community, right, for you to collaborate, right? Working with other producers. There's other producers who's met with me who got placements in there, songwriters, and sometimes they're working on songs and they need people to hop on them, or they've created a track and I'm like, yo, this track is good. We got it approved. We just need the right hook and lyrics on it, right?
Right.
So you also be having opportunities like that in the Discord, and I will still show Shine. He'll talk to you more about that, but this won't just be a one-way street where it's like, hey, we just looking for you to, hey, you got to create this, and nah, you'll see stuff pop up, and it'll be easy for you to collab and be part of the community.
For sure,
Okay.
for sure. So out of the 8 songs that I submitted to you, do you think that any of them are ready for placement right now?
Not right now. I would say the one that's probably the closest would be maybe Ride and I Got You. But I already know what they'll say. It's like, hey, we need more layers on it. We'll like more layers and more transitions because they want more transitions. So I know that, and we need a stinger at the end of both on both of them too.
Okay.
So if you go back and add more layers, some transitions, and maybe even think about speeding it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Just to see how that sounds. You know what I
Okay.
mean? And
Yeah,
sometimes it's good just to play with your songs just to see how they sound if you do different things to them. Because sometimes I always tell people more up tempo songs seem to last longer and get more placements than slow songs. And the reason why is because think about it, when you watch some TV or you watch even video games or movies, it could be the saddest scene or the worst thing happening. You will hear some up tempo music, right?
right.
And so it's because they try to trick people's mind. When
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
obviously action scenes or there's a lot of things that are moving, it's going to be up tempo music. So if you make music that is up tempo, that always says that I like to use feel good because feel good always gets way more placements and it lasts longer in the ecosystem. If you focus on making songs like that, feel good up tempo music, and speeding some songs up, you'll have the opportunity to get more placements. So sometimes it's not actually going back and doing a new song. It's taking what you have and playing with what you have. Like, yo, let me get on the turntable and let me just speed this up like 10 BPMs, and let me say, oh shit, this
Right.
sound actually a different song, but it sounds better. Like, oh, okay, this you may want to play with your songs and do that. It may not even be going back to the drawing board completely. It may be speeding it up. And you're like, damn, this sounds completely different. Let me add this, and now it's a whole nother record. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So think about it like that, bro. Okay.
All righty. Yes, sir.
Any other questions for me?
Man, I think that about wrap it up. If I can't if I threw some more stuff in the folder or whatever, and you ended up um deciding to work with it, like what would be the process then? Just set up another meeting?
No. You once you got access to me, you got access to me. You don't got to pay again to have no meeting with me or anything. You just put the thing in a folder, let show know, and the show's gonna tell me, and then we'll listen to it. And then it's that simple, bro. No Hollywood shit over here. You
That's
got stuff folder, I'll tell you it's a yay or a nay. It's that simple. Or if it's like, hey, we close, I'll say, hey, this is what we need to do. It's that simple.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Man, this is golden information, you know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to this next level, man. I sure appreciate all that you spilling to me, you know what I'm saying, and keeping it real with me, cause we ain't trying to, you know what I'm saying, go off of the pats on the back on some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to get to that finish line.
Got you, bro. Nah, it's a pleasure meeting you, man. I look forward to working with you. Like I said, I like your music. I feel like we get your voice on some of these songs that we need and the style that we need and the genre. I think you could do some real damage because there's not a voice out there like yours that's doing the songs that we need, man. There really isn't. So if you can really hone in and zero in or figure out like, yo, I could do this shit and these things,
Yeah,
hey, tap in, bro.
will
Really
do.
tap in.
Will do.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hey, show you there, bro?
Yeah, my bad. I have to mute my mic. Yeah, I'm here, bro. Yes,
Nah, we
sir.
all done, bro. Did you want
All right.
to take a picture or anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Hey, I'm about to take this picture, so make sure you get ready to take this picture for Troy. I'm about to do it real quick.
Yes, sir.
All right. All right. 1, 2, 3. All right, bet we solid. I
Cool.
appreciate y'all.
Yeah, appreciate you too. Show you sent them over. You emailed them everything, right?
Yeah, I'm about to send them over to Discord right now.
Okay, cool. And I told him you explain a little bit more about the Discord and what we're going to be doing and stuff. I gave him like the Cliff Notes version and stuff, but I figure you have some more details you want to give them and stuff and show them how it
Yes,
works
sir.
and everything. So we're all set. Yo, Fortrate, pleasure meeting you. Appreciate you. Appreciate you too, show. Y'all be
Yes,
safe,
sir.
all right?
Already, bro.
Likewise, you too, man. I appreciate you, boss.
All right, take care, y'all.
Yep.
What's up, Bernie?
Yes, sir.
All right, I just sent you the Discord.
Okay.
Beating went solid, bro.
Yep.
So that Discord, I know you probably part of the other Discord I have, but this is way different. So everybody in here, bro,
Mm-hmm.
they all in here for the same thing, with your sync placement. They all had the same meeting you had with Darnell Knight. Feel what I'm saying? So when you get in there, bro, there's beats you can access, bro. Like when I say there's beats you can access, they're not gonna charge you for no beats, man, at all. You feel what I'm saying? Meaning there are already beats in there. I say don't use them for your own personal shit.
Yeah.
Or use them for, I mean, you could talk to them niggas about personal, you getting your own beats from there. But what I'm saying is, like, don't use that shit for your own personal, what could I say, like your own album and shit. When you do that record, it goes in there with the intent. And when you do those records, if you use any of those beats are for the intent that you actually getting them placed.
Okay.
Feel what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
Yup, and they're not charging you for the beats, and these beats is already approved. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, they don't have no samples or nothing in there. You feel what I'm saying? So type shit. Dig me? So you could download any beats you want. All the topics that Darnell was talking about, bro, is gonna be in a Discord, and it's gonna be under the part where it says announcements, Darnell Knight announcements. So all the topics that he talking about, like you know what I'm saying? There's just probably like maybe 30 of them in there that always get picked. Remember how he was like one of them is Underdog?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? You're gonna see a screenshot with me and Darnell Darnell Knight just basically giving all the the topics to the shit, you know what I mean?
Already.
So That's one of the things. When you get in there, just introduce yourself. Be like, hey, what's up? I'm Fort Trey. Let them know where you from. You know what I'm saying? What kind of music you do. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And yeah, dog, and communicating that motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? We got features in there. Like, so say if you just dope on a hook, you like y'all want to drop a hook, anybody could kill a beat. You feel what I'm saying? Type shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, are you in there already or not?
No, I still had this open. I wasn't doing two things at once. I was also gonna here in a couple days I'm gonna shoot some more bread too and get a couple of my songs back on the radio station up there.
Okay, for sure, man. Hell yeah. Yeah, man. I'm glad we finally got this shit out the way, man. So, welcome to the squad, bro.
Yeah,
You feel me?
man. Much
What
appreciated.
we got? No problem, bro. You in there like swimmer now. Oh,
Yeah, I was hoping to get at least one of them snatched up.
it's gonna happen. It don't matter. It is good. Don't even sweat it, bro. At least, like as I said, you go in there not knowing. You
Yeah,
dig what I'm saying? It's just like anything else. At least you know where to go. Some people would take 3 times for
right.
them to get it. You know what I'm saying? It might take you one. It might take you two. It might take you four.
Yeah,
You know what I'm
I'm gonna
saying?
rewatch the whole meeting, man, because I recorded this shit, so like I absorbed it
Yeah.
real
You
quick,
a
bro.
smart motherfucker.
Yeah, I
Smart
absorbed that shit
motherfucker.
real shit real quick. So it's like, man,
Well,
I'm gonna have some shit right back up in that folder ready to go.
yeah. And then every time you make a new record,
Yep,
every time you make sure you have 5 records or more.
got
Don't just send me one or two.
you. Yep,
Also, so say if you got like an up tempo high energy, right?
yeah,
So say if you got those kind of records, dog, put them in that folder up there, but make sure they got the stinger. Say
okay,
if you don't have nobody that know how to do a stinger, bro, or you like, man, I don't know how to do a stinger, man, or you be like, damn, I gotta pay this engineer. So in how our Discord is set up, bro, you ain't gotta worry about paying nobody for a stinger. You know what I'm saying? Or helping you add. They more on nigga put me on the contract. You
right,
feel what I'm saying?
right.
Because they understand if you get signed, they get signed. You feel me? So yeah, dog, it's all everything in there is accessible, dog. So yeah, it's solid. It's hella cool. I'm glad you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah,
Man, I got niggas in there that don't even work, bro. I promise you, they sent the money, but they don't work, and that shit's embarrassing, dog. Cause I'm like, I told you niggas, if y'all niggas not gonna work, don't send me shit.
right.
Feel me?
Hell yeah, man. I'm gonna be after this shit all summer long. I'm obsessed with it.
Hell yeah, I'm happy for you, bro.
Hell yeah.
Hella happy for you.
Well, shit, Brody. Like I said, I'm gonna touch you some more coins here in a few days, and
Okay.
try to get I'm gonna probably go with Rod and Success, and then run the new one, Late Bloomer, on there.
Okay, for sure, for sure. Most definitely. Do you know if you want to do heavy promo or a light promo?
Probably just light for now.
Okay, for sure, for sure.
I'm
You
still
got
get,
like, man. Oh, go ahead.
I was still shooting videos of some of them down here and shit, cause like we got this thing called Creator Hub that just opened up recently, and they just took a warehouse and basically threw some cameras and stages in there. So like they real legit open is June 5th, but like there's green screen, there's everything like a real fucking video studio hall like type shit. So my video game finna take the fuck off. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that's dope as shit right there. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hella dope.
Hell yeah,
That's
bro.
hella dope.
But shit, man, I'll tap back in with you in a few days and shit. And as soon as I get, 5 of them lined up, I'll for sure throw them up in there.
Hell yeah. And if you know any other artists that's interested, man, you can send them my way.
Yep.
Feel what I'm saying? I'll kick you back some paper, and then on top of that, what I do is I tell you, we get them signed to anything, bro. Even if it's not your song, but it's their song, you'll still go on a movie or TV show with their ass. You feel me? And get a check. You
Already.
feel me? And that's for any song they submit.
Yep.
You feel me? Because you introduce them.
Already. Finder's fee. I can dig it.
Exactly. You already know what I'm talking about.
Sir, that's all I've been trying to do is expand the motion, the whole movement y'all been doing anyway, man. It's been dragging my feet. I've
Push.
been wanting to have me a little live setup on
Uh,
here, but I'm gonna get there.
nah, for sure, man. Yeah, keep doing your shit and tap in with me. And I got you, bro.
Already, my nigga.
All day.
It's on. Love.
Peace. Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yo. DoorDash, my wife.